So we're going to get started. Good morning to all of you. We're going to be going down a slightly different path this week. I received an email this week that included some excerpts from a speech that was given at a conference the week before. The conference is irrelevant, but I've excerpted the excerpts that I received. So these remarks were made by Jim Towie, who was legal counsel to Mother Teresa for the last 12 years of her life. And he said, in part, Mother Teresa of Calcutta taught me during the time I knew her that the greatest need of a human being is to love and be loved. Humans crave connection and belonging. Mother Teresa saw beyond the hunger people had for bread to the deeper hunger to love and be loved. This need is especially acute in times of uncertainty and instability, like now, when the social fabric that binds us together as a nation is frayed by fears and fear-mongering. Fear can bring out the worst in people and institutions. Fear is the great enemy of love. Fear feeds our stress, panic, and uncertainty. We see in our country fear feeds the stress, panic, and uncertainty we see in our country whenever lives feel threatened. So this email, which, as I said, just came a couple of days ago, coupled with the conversation that we had last week, has inspired me to focus on love for the next few weeks. So first, we'll spend some time defining what I mean by love. I am not limiting myself to romantic love or to the love that siblings feel for one another or that a parent and child feel for one another. I'm including a really generalized caring and concern, a sense of compassion. So I think of the word chesed, which has been, translated as grace and benevolence or compassion, loving kindness. And in my world at the Institute for Jewish Spirituality, it's often translated as loving connection. And then I was looking at the word Ahava, which is love in Hebrew. And I learned that the root of Ahava is to give. So love implies giving, and giving requires receiving. You can't have a giver if there's no receiver on the other end. So all of this is playing in my head. And then I came upon a quote from Sharon Salzberg. And she writes, "Love is not soft and mushy. It is strong and resilient. It springs from the truth of our interconnectedness and is powerful because it is aligned with what is true." So I take all of this and I'm looking at it through the lens of John McCransky, whom I have mentioned previously. He is the author of Awakening Through Love, and he's a marvelous meditation teacher and a Buddhist scholar. And he teaches that when the power of unconditional care is felt inside, that can be deeply healing and absolutely sustaining. And it can make us more present to ourselves and to others. So we need to experience how it feels to be held in love and compassion in order to extend love and compassion to others. We can't give what we don't know. We can't give what we don't have. So when we can become really present to our feelings of kindness for ourselves, we can extend those feelings of kindness toward others. When we can be kind to ourselves when we have really ugly feelings and accept them, then we can accept that other people are also okay when they have what we might consider to be ugly feelings. So today we're really going to focus on opening to receiving love and care and compassion. And I think of this as loving awareness. So we're going to create a field of care for ourselves. That's McCransky's language. He wants to create a field of care. So basically, there are 3 options for creating a field of care. And I am going to describe each of them. And then you will be asked to choose what you think is going to work best for you. So the first option is recalling a caring moment. So this is a time when a moment, it could be a split second. So we're not going into a big story. And I think that that's really key to all of this. This can be a moment when you felt really cared for, that someone or some loving animal really loves you, wants only what's best for you, where you're really being held and seen in all of your glory with no judgment. So this is a moment that might bring a smile to your face, a moment where you feel that's kind of heartwarming to remember. So this is a time when you could really feel being loved and held. So just see if you can come up with something, just very briefly right now, and then we're going to move on to what the second option is. But I guess I need to point out that when you come up with this moment, the idea is to really embody those feelings that get generated. So this is not a thinking about. So you're conjuring up a memory, but then really bringing it into your body so that you're re-experiencing it. Okay, the second option is a benefactor. Now, a benefactor is somebody that you are really grateful that this person is in your life or somehow in your world, because it doesn't even have to be somebody you know personally. But somebody who really inspires you and has really touched you. And again, we're not looking for the perfect person because that doesn't exist. We're looking for an experience with this person. And it could be something you read that some person who's long deceased wrote. Or it could be the way somebody who is deceased and was in your life has impacted you. But again, we're thinking of somebody who has just uplifted you by their sheer presence, by their way of being. Could be a mentor. And what you'll be asked to do is imagine that person with you now. And again, it's that specific encounter. And then you would be asked to breathe into this memory and again, re-experience what that encounter felt like for you. And then the third option, which is maybe more challenging, and which is why you have the choice to do whatever is going to work for you. The third option is to think in terms of a spiritual field. So this is to bring into mind a spiritual figure or a group of spiritual figures that are deeply meaningful to you, who hold you and the world with absolute unconditional love and care and compassion and wisdom. So such a field could be a field of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, or it could be a generalized feeling that you associate with divinity or with God. It could be a cloud of loving care and concern that's lifting you and holding you. At one point I was doing this meditation, and I suddenly was lying in a hammock that I felt was the presence of God holding me in this hammock. It was very, very interesting and quite lovely for the split second that it lasted. So the notion here again is that you're imagining this presence for the spiritual field of being with you now, just radiating unconditional care and concern, enduring love. And you can think of loving awareness as a divine quality. That could be the God within you, the B'Tselem Elohim. And again, the idea is not to intellectualize around this, but to experience this in your body. So take a minute now to figure out which option is going to be best for you. What's going to be most effective to help you sense that you're held in a field of love and care and compassion. And in a minute or two, we will begin our meditation, and you'll be asked to call upon that. So I want to, before we move to the meditation, reiterate that we use the field of care to bring these loving qualities up into our consciousness from our underlying awareness. This sense of being held in care and being accepted and being seen and incredible safety and well-being is really important. And when we start to experience these qualities and can really allow ourselves the luxury to relax into them, we let these loving qualities embrace and uplift us. And then we focus on these qualities, not on the stories related. So we want to drop those stories when they arise and just fully feel the qualities so that they can really permeate our whole body and our whole mind. So with that prelude, let's take our seats. And I invite you to take a couple of nice, deep cleansing breaths. Just inhaling and exhaling. Moving from your head down into your body. Giving the thinking mind arrest. And now bring to mind your field of care, your caring moment or benefactor or spiritual field. So bring this to mind, not as a memory, but as if it is happening right now. Present here with you now. Allow yourself to embody the feelings that come up as you recall this moment, this benefactor, or this spiritual field. Know that you're being seen as deeply worthy of love and care. There are no judgments. Allow yourself to relax into the felt sense of this experience. Savoring the loving energy, feeling the tender qualities, and letting them permeate your whole being. And any thoughts or feelings that arise or stories related to the memory that you've brought to mind, let them be gently embraced in the spacious warmth and acceptance of this field of care. Know that you are being held and seen and cared for without judgment, with deep, unconditional love and care and concern and compassion. As you slowly and gently come back to the room, going to share a poem. Actually, it's an interpretation of a prayer from Sheila Pels-Weinberg, Ahava Rabbah. What is a great love? A love that reaches deep inside our hearts and minds and never departs. An expanding, continually surpassing compassion that flows toward and within us. Those who came before us were blessed to learn how it truly is. So may we have the merit to be open to this learning. Let us know that we are held in an embrace of infinite kindness. Let us become still, still enough to hear, still enough to get clear, still enough to know suffering and its release. May we embody this wisdom. May it shine from our eyes as the love that it is. May our minds and hearts be unified to behold with love and wonder that which is ever becoming. No more victims, no more powerlessness, no more blaming or shaming each other and ourselves. For our faith in this sacred this, makes us joyous. Continually gathering peacefully from the dispersed and distracted into this right here, our home. We engage in an ever faithful and mysterious process of drawing close to your name, what is sacred love. So I invite you now to share any comments or questions or insights from this meditation. Camilla.
I really liked this, this way of thinking. I guess I thought of a lot of people who, you know, at different points of my life were very supportive. And it just, you know, it was a good reminder of how important it is to try to be that way, or to be aware of the power that has. And I think, so I think it really is helpful to help me to try to be more that way myself, if I can cue into that. And I just wanted to thank you for that.
Thank you. Debbie.
Thank you so
Fran,
much.
Did you want, sorry, Fran, did you want to stop the recording while we share?
I did.
Oh, because it says still recording on mine.
It does?